All right, we're starting back on the Honda 300EX here. If you didn't see the first video where we got it running and rebuilt the complete top end, make sure you go ahead and check that out. So I haven't worked on this thing for a while because I've been waiting for parts to come in. Specifically the airbox. The airbox finally came in. It was the last thing to show up. And there's some sort of discrepancy. No matter what I do here, these frame horns, see that one's like that, that one's lined up, and this one is off. Can you see that? Maybe I'll hook this one up and you can see how far off this one is. So I don't know what the difference is, if maybe different years are a little bit off. I suspect that these two frame horns that are the basically the intake snorkels that get your air all the way from up there, I suspect that one of those was just manufactured a little different. I need to get a porta power and just push these apart. We have the 400EX carburetor hooked up here. All you have to do to get the 400EX carburetor to hook to mount up to this flange is just warm this up a little bit, and then a little bit of grease, and it goes on. Now the difference is the intake tube. Now, if you are able to find one and you got the money, they say a 350X three-wheeler intake boot fits. But what I've done here is I went on Amazon, ordered this, I guess it's a 12-inch 2 1/4 aluminum tube, and then I ordered this 2 1/4 ID silicone coupler, and this is our stock intake boot. So my idea is we'll just cut this thing back here somewhere. Maybe we gotta warm it up, cut this to the appropriate length, and we'll put it all together and we'll have a functioning intake. So for now, I'm just gonna take one of these little rubber boots off because I don't feel like fighting with this thing. I already fought with it about 15-20 minutes the other day, and basically any little difference there is, it won't be noticeable, and there'll be plenty of play in the intake tube anyways. Wow, that thing really doesn't even want to fit with the rubber off. What is wrong with this thing? We need to start mocking up our intake situation here. This is our boot that we're putting on the carburetor. It's nothing special. This is just an Amazon boot. I think this was $10 or $15. So honestly, it's kind of expensive for this thing. Okay, that is on there. Now, I think really what we need to do next is cut this back, and I think I'm about to cut it at this rib here, and then see if that is going to be wide enough, open enough for our tube to go into. All right, I got a fresh blade here, and yeah, I think we're just gonna go right behind this rib right here. Maybe we'll go here first. We can always cut more off later. Okay, so like I suspected, this is not going to be open enough. I really think we're going to have to cut it further back. So let's go right here. All right, there's no going back now. Heck yeah. So we can definitely make that work, I think. So let's put this OEM cutoff piece on the airbox, and then we should just be able to take a measurement and cut this aluminum tube. Okay, that's on there. Now, let's see. I think we could get away with a 6-inch piece. Literally that way I can cut that in half, and then I can use the other 6 inches for something else. Anyways, I got the pipe cut. I just put it on here, and I have our piece here, our stock piece. Now let's slide the air box in. See what happens. What kind of magic we got here. Tell you what, these stupid mounts are really crimping my style. All right. Oh yeah. All right, we're cooking with grease now, I think. Doesn't look terrible. Now, I'm sure that our transition inside of the tube here is not the smoothest, but you know what? I mean, hey, it's what we're working with, I guess. Now, the next thing is will the seat go on with this being all round? Because that's why the stock one is, you know, kind of pancaked out. Oh yeah, it's clearing, son. That sucker clears, bubba. Look at that, clears perfectly. No modification needed to be done. Now, I'm sure we'll have to rejet. I read that the 400EX has a 148 main jet, and you know, a stock 300 with a pipe runs about a 125, 128 main jet. So I don't know with the 330 big bore kit and this intake setup what all will change, but I guess we'll figure that out soon enough. Now I am missing, I do need to put a clamp on here, but I also want to slide this aluminum piece back just a little bit. Next thing, let's work on getting this master cylinder rebuilt, the rear one, and then we can throw on our new caliper after that. Get the brakes working. All right, first thing first, let's just give this thing a little wipe. Finally got that sucker out. All right, so this is just like the little push rod that we got out, but the piston is still in there, which I guess we can just push it out through like this, hopefully. Boom. Okay, we got our master cylinder apart here. We can clean it out a little bit. Anyways, so this is our push rod. This is our piston with the seals on it. This is the clevis, another dust seal, and this is our seal clip. Now, this is a brand new kit, and it is a Shindy. It says made in Japan, so hopefully that's pretty good, right? I think I only paid 20 bucks for this kit. Which, I mean, you can get a new master cylinder for 20 bucks, but I figure this is probably better to rebuild the OEM one. So we have 2 seals here. You can see they have a different inner diameter. And then those are going to go on the piston here. So now the way this works is this faces up. So when the brake fluid goes inside that little channel and you push on it, it pushes outwards and seals up, seals everything up. So should be able to get this thing stripped over like that. Yep, so it goes like that. And then same thing goes for this one right here. Perfect. So that's our new piston with its seals. This is the new versus the old. Dang, you can see how much taller that new spring is. Now, let's clean this out some more because I keep seeing junk come out. Yeah, so it should be pretty clean now. What we need to do is put some grease on this so those seals go in nice and pretty like they don't mess up. Look at that. All right, that slid right in just perfect. Now it's a good thing they gave us a new ring. Even this right here, wish they would have sent us a new push rod because this one's pretty rough. We can clean out this groove a little bit. This is where the that dust seal rides. Ah. I think this is a little tricky if I remember right. Okay, it's in there. Let's push the clip down. All right, we weren't able to hear it pop or clip in because I had too much going on, but our clip is in. I hope. Alrighty, here's our new boot. So this just presses down in there. Okay, the boot is on. And we put this lock nut on, and then our clevis. Here's our brand new high-tech eBay special caliper. And I've used these before, they work all right. Looks like it's gonna bolt right up. So on these, you can't put the hose in this little holder because there's bleeders in the way. But these are minor details. All right, I've got a couple things going on here. I got the rear brakes working, and I got the tires mounted up. I got these wheels from a buddy because the wheels that were on here were aluminum Douglas wheels. They were 8-inch, and these are for 9-inch. I put this new chain on, and then I went to adjust the chain, and I loosened the jam bolts and put a bunch of PB blaster in all these little holes. I took this out too, and this carrier would not move. So as you can see, it's broke there. I got a new one right here, which it probably needed a new carrier to begin with, or bearings rather. I've got the 400EX intake all hooked up. And what else do I got going on here? I guess I split the plastics down the middle because it's always easier to get them, you know, on and off like this. And then we'll just zip tie the back. And then this muffler, I have tried everything I could to get these bolts loose. And these things are just seized on there. And you can hear inside the baffle is broken. And I really like to save this muffler just for the nostalgia part of, you know, just because it's air correct. And these discs, these quiet discs, you know, I don't like the way this looks or whatever, but I think it's a cool idea. But anyways, I have since then decided for $30, we're going to put the same muffler on that I put on this four-wheeler. The same one, pretty much. And I figured for 30 bucks, it's not worth my time to screw with this old FMF. I'll just put it on the wall or something. And we'll put this Akropovich copy on. So basically all we gotta do is cut it right here with the Sawzall. Put this baby on, weld up this little doodad, and it's got springs and everything that come with it, which we could, yeah, we'll make the muffler come off. Why not? So let's start cutting. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Looks good enough from here, I think. Actually, yeah, it needs to go in more like that. Okay, so the end of my gun has broken. Sorry about that. I wonder if it was, well, anyways, it's on there. So I took this tank apart, and this is the little filter that goes inside the tank. This is the petcock. This is supposed to be taller, this little tube. So that tube is missing. And if you look here, there's a bunch of junk in this petcock. So let's take this bottom off, because let's see, I got it right now in like either the reserves, I don't know, is it in reserve or it's on? It's one of those. But when I try to blow through it, nothing comes out. So let's pop this off. Oh my gosh, look at all the junk inside there. Take this little O-ring out. Be careful not to break it. Okay, now we can take out this little plastic filter piece. Interesting. Well, I guess we're gonna have to give her the old brake clean, see what happens there. Hopefully it doesn't swell up any of the parts, any of the seals that are inside this piece here. Okay, so I think we can do is put our little plastic filter here in. This thing's actually got a lot more filters than I expected it to. Which it looks like, yeah. So you got a filter there, and this filter in the tank. So now that we've put the plastic piece in, we can put this O-ring in, which is kind of hard. Now we need to clean out the bowl of this petcock. It's as clean as I can get it, I think. Maybe we'll throw a little sandpaper action in there. I'll put a little bit of grease in here just to help that the threads and that seal. Oh yeah, maybe thread on real nice like. All right. You heard of that. Try it the other way. All right. Perfect. So, actually, you can see all the junk that came out of that petcock. Junkola galore. So we'll clean out this filter a little bit here. All right, so I have the gas tank back on here after we cleaned out the petcock, and there are bushings that are supposed to go here and to mount the tank. There's only one left here, and this is what is left of it. This is what's left of the bushing. So I had some extra bushings from the golf cart. That's what they look like, and they almost fit that hole. And so this is the other extra ones. They're a little bit dirty from my greasy hands, but I put them on this bolt, and we're going to take it to my buddy's house, and we're going to go turn these on the lathe so they fit in here, and we have free gas tank bushings. Okay, so this phone's dead, and I forgot the gas tank. So I don't even know what I'm supposed to be turning these down to, but I have another set, and I'm hoping maybe I can get lucky. Don't have to make another trip back and forth, but I don't know, I've already taken off a decent amount. We'll go for a little bit more, and if I gotta come back, I gotta come back, I guess, right? I forgot the gas tank at the house here at my shop, and I went ahead and machined these down. I guesstimated. Let's see if these things are gonna fit. All right, I have another set in case these don't fit, but let's check it out. Oh, looks pretty good so far. Damn, I like that. Let's see if the other one fits. So I don't know why they had this hole here originally. This should never been drilled out. But anyways, let's try this side. Looks like it's gonna fit perfect. All right, this is our last cut piece here. Hammering tool. Nice. And this didn't cost me any money. So I already had these parts and made them work. I got lucky that I was able to eyeball these parts here, and was lucky that they were the perfect fit. That's a solid gas tank, son. Now, let's see if I can get the fuel line on without taking it back off. This thing's looking pretty good, man. If you see, I got this 2x6 screwed to the front bumper. Because if you remember in a last video, I had a same four-wheeler, actually that one right there, on the stand, and I took the axle out and the whole thing tipped over. So I'm trying not to do that this time. So let's take off this whole rear axle assembly, I guess. Whew. Okay, so I've been trying to get this lock nut off, and you can see there's some red Loctite on there. A lot of people have hard times keeping these things tight, and sometimes mine comes loose over there. But you know, it's one of those things I always check. Ooh, I'm out of breath. And so I'm gonna heat this up, and it should come on. Once it gets a little warm, it should come through. All right, I don't know if this part ever made it in the video, but these two frame horns here are too narrow and they are not lining up for the airbox to mount up. And I've tried everything and everything. So let's go ahead and take this airbox off. I'm gonna loosen this stuff up real quick. All right, so what I have here is a porta power kit that I have borrowed from a friend. Bam. So we have several different attachments here. So what we need to use is this. I wonder what happens if we do this. Alright, now we're cooking on fire. Hopefully we can get this thing pushed down. So, I don't know where we left off last, but I went ahead and mounted up the plastics. They're a little rough, but guess what? It's better than no plastics. This one, I had to put a big washer on because it's all walled out. I also heated this up with a torch because it was all cracked there. Hoping we can put like a number plate, maybe something, just like a number plate background over top of it, or just a sticker. Now, the really bad part is this is ugly as hell. So I'm thinking maybe I put a plate of metal behind here. Thinking I put a plate of metal behind here and rivet it and maybe epoxy it on the back side, and then the circle will be the correct size. Now, another thing you can tell here is the seat is not fitting correctly, which could be a handful of things. I believe it is the intake is touching. I can't really tell because it's obviously in there tight. And I'd like to put my new seat cover on here. I don't know. I don't think it's touching. I think we just might need to heat this thing up and reshape the pan a little bit. Honestly, I'm a little upset. I put a lot of work in this stupid four-wheeler and it's still ugly. And I freaking have put more money than I would like to admit. I'll probably have $1,200 in it, maybe $1,300 when it's all said and done. Yeah, I went over budget a little bit. I had to buy the new key switch, a whopping $8 or whatever. Damn, they put that there and it hits the gas tank. That's ridiculous. That could be one reason my plastics ain't fitting right. What else did I had? I had bought the muffler. That was $30. What's a couple other things? The muffler looks good. The muffler's the nicest part about it. I think I'm gonna have to do some handlebars because I think these are bent. Yeah, I think they're bent a little bit. And they're ugly. Still don't have front brakes. The rear brakes work. And I still have to jet this thing. I have no clue. I haven't started up with the new carburetor on it. I gotta go get gas. So, what else is noteworthy on this thing? I think before I go get gas and everything, steering's pretty tight on this thing. Ah! Maybe too tight. Might need to hit it with some lube. But when I do go get some gas, I want to get the Rust-Oleum and some spray paint. So I want to say Rust-Oleum, the Rust-Oleum rust remover. And get this thing pressure washed up, get it looking better. see if we can make it look beautiful. I want to see if I can make this seat fit better. All right, so I had cut these plastics so you don't have to take all the handlebars off to, you know, take the front plastics off and get underneath to get the, you know, the carburetor. So I cut them. I just drilled these holes and we're gonna zip tie it back together. So I took the fender off and I confirmed that we are hitting a little bit right here on this, but that's not where our issue is. Our issue is more up here. I think this seat has just been, you know, sitting around so long, not on the four-wheeler, and maybe sitting up a certain way and kind of pulling it back like that. So let's just double check here. That's how it sits. And yeah, we need this thing to come down. So let's heat this area here. See if we could get it somewhere closer in there, that'd be better. I wonder if the subframe's bent or something. I don't think so. I think the seat's just wonky. Let's see if we can do anything. Because we also needed to come this way. Maybe I just stand on it while I warm it up. Ah! What we got now? Oh, that's way better. I think this seat cover must have shrank and it was pulling way down on it. Where is that thing? That was way back here. See, now it's all no wrinkles, nice and pliable. Let's go see what this one's made in Mexico. Let's go put it on. I finally got this seat done, and I'll say for how questionable the actual pattern is, looks like it came out pretty good. Now we can all right, that seat cover really helped things, makes it look so much better. At this point, I think I've ran out of parts to put on it. I don't think I have any more of my little parts bin over here. Some tools, some extra gaskets. It's safe to say it's time to go get the Rust-Oleum rust remover and some spray paint. This thing's looking pretty good. I just went to Home Depot and got a bunch of goodies. We are losing daylight. I want to address all this rust. Oh my gosh, look how bad that is. In this four-wheeler, which it's got some clay on it from riding it, but this four-wheeler used to look exactly like that. And what I did is I used this stuff right here. This stuff is really surprisingly good. And then come back with this bare metallic spray paint. This stuff is a little pricey, but I guess, you know, everything's pricey these days. It's like 10 bucks a can, but it really kind of matches that OEM look. Then I got some degreaser. I don't know, I've never tried that. Got some fuel because I don't have a gas can. It's in my trailer, which is not here. Oh, and then I bought this wire brush to scrape all the rust off. So I just want you to check out all that rust. Now I'm not gonna be doing any like crazy restoration or anything. Just want to get that rust off and hit it with some spray paint. Just make it look better. All right, let's do it. All right, so it's not perfect. It's still wet. I think it looks a lot better. Look at that header. Oh my gosh. And that's not even the whole, like, there's still some rust on it. And I mean, there's still rust, but look at the front end versus how it was before. I mean, it looks way better. I mean, it is what it is. I'll probably take the shocks off, zip those off. Maybe take these little 8mm out, tape the brake lines up, shoot it with the paint, take the front bumper off, and then kind of just piece in where I can on the swing arm and everything. The axle is, you know, not perfect, it's, you know, it's better. But you can see before and after for sure how much different it is. And I think overall it looks pretty clean. It looks way better. It looks actually semi-respectable now. Take the bumper off next. Oh, come on now. Let's see what this looks like. I really want to wait for everything to dry overnight, but I've already been doing way too much to this four-wheeler. I don't really want to go entirely too crazy with sand and everything. This is the best this four-wheelers was ever likely to get, you know. I mean, that looks damn good. Maybe we'll put a little before and after. So we're at 47 minutes here in the video, and a handful of things have occurred since I have recorded. So basically, I'm gonna take this thing on its maiden voyage on a camping trip, and you can see there's been a slight modification. So I had this rack off a four-wheeler that's sitting in the backyard. That was for parts for the Kodiak 400. And basically all I did was put some angle iron on there, and then I flip it around backwards, and it sits pretty level. There's no spacer there. Probably should put one, but oh well. So basically I freshened it up. I put the shocks back on, greased those. You can see how good the frame looks now. It's not perfect, right? But it's way better than that rust. And what else we got going on here? I guess that's about it. I rejetted the carburetor twice now. I have not ridden this thing. I'm literally gonna ride it up and down the road tomorrow, and it should be good enough. I've ran it twice, and the first time I had already swapped the jets out to a 155 main and a 42 pilot. It seemed a little off. I upped it up to a 160 main and a 45 pilot, and it seems pretty good. I might have to go up one more on the pilot, but we'll see. So my bench here is a mess, and I have these lights. I'm trying to figure out if I want to, you know, mount them like this, or if I want to mount them down here more sleek like and through the bumper. So I think I'm gonna mount them through the bumper. I think they work. Let's see if they work real quick. Man, I got too many tools out right now. Look at all this. This is ridiculous. That one works. I don't even know where I got these from. I know I had them on a four-wheeler a long time ago. Perfect. So they both work, and they should be plenty bright. All right, they're all mounted up. They do look a little wonky, but we can bend them like that. Next thing is I have this. You know, I have this pigtail, and then I also have these to make my own pigtails, or I have these bullet style connectors. Actually, I had a couple different ones. I got these. Maybe I'll use these. All right, so this is how I have it wired up. 2 into there, and then boom, it's gonna hook up to that wire there. All right, this is gonna be like the first time since I've owned this thing and worked on it, it comes off this stand. And it's still ugly. It's not running right. There's barely any gas in there, and I think that's our problem. Out of fuel. Detected an issue. I saw something dripping here. You can see, oh, there it is. And you can see our tank is leaking. Now, I don't know where it's leaking from because it's all back together. Oh my gosh, this thing's dripping everywhere back there. I thought it was maybe the petcock, but now, what if it's right there? I don't know. Maybe I'll swap it out from another four-wheeler tomorrow. So at this point, our maiden voyage down the road must commence. So let's do that now. Alright, my first impressions, it's slow. It might even be slower than a stock 300. Might even be slower than this one, which is stock with a high compression piston. So, kind of, I know when I first bought this thing, I was like, oh, I don't want to put a bunch of time and money in it. But, you know, when recording the videos, you're putting time into it as it is. So, I kind of went, you know, probably a little overboard. But damn, I would have thought this thing would have had way more power for that 330 kit. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, you got to freaking do this or that. And you got to have a good name brand piston, which could be true. Now, I am running a 160 main jet. Now, it seems to run fine. I mean, doesn't pop or bog or anything like that. Now, someone said they were running a 180, which, you know, maybe I need to bump it up. But, I mean, that could be the case. Maybe I mess with it tomorrow because, you know, I got to do something about this fuel tank leaking. I really don't know what's going on here. So maybe tomorrow I freaking swap the tanks out a little bit and swap the tank. See if I can change out that jet while I'm at it. And if not, then I'll be pretty bummed as far as power. So that's where we're at. Alright, well, as you can tell, I don't really do any riding content on my channel here, but if you want to know how this awesome camping trip went down, be sure to let me know down in the comments and I'll do a video on that. The 300 is still running. It's maybe running questionable. I think that maybe I'd take this 330 kit off and put just stock parts, you know, stock cylinder with a good piston. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to dump any more time into it. Maybe I just run it the way it is. So make sure you subscribe and be on the lookout for the next video.